Hey, Maggie! Oh, almost forgot to put my captions on. Give me one moment. There we are. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up. It's quite loud. Okay. That's me. Bring that way down. How's that? Not too loud, not too quiet? Sounds good? Perfect. Okay, I think that's new since last time I played, but it's only been 2 years. It's been forever since I picked up this game. I've only seen 3.5% of the game. Wow. Okay. Research or recon? We can do romance again another time. Hi, headset! You haven't missed anything. I literally just started the game. Hi! Sorry I'm late. I had a medical appointment that went overtime today. I'm glad to see you here. I'm gonna do research to start with. Thank you for the hydrate. Research 16 or research 12? Do research 16 first. I'd rather you didn't spam one reward over and over. There's a lot of interesting rewards there. Alright, today I'm off on a field trip of sorts with the professor. I can't wait to see what he's planning to show me. Alright. Let's see. Professor Pauper told me to be ready early and dress for hiking, as we're doing field work this morning. I'm not sure that I have anything that would pass for hiking gear, to be honest. Some sturdy shoes would be good. Well, lab coat and trainers it is then, as usual. A new message from the professor lights up my catalog. Okay. Ah, Malacat, are you ready for our field work today? With my glasses? The model's not wearing them today. I'm wearing them in physical space, though. I decided I wanted to wear this outfit today, and this one doesn't have glasses for my model. Alright. Yes, of course, Professor. May I ask where we are going? Summer, I think you'll find very interesting. The professor hands me a backpack. Okay, a very full yet light backpack. Popper has set off at a brisk pace, calling back to me over his shoulder. Wow! Seems like I can't read today. This way. I run to catch up. After some serious walking, with me struggling to keep up, the professor stops abruptly and listens. Do you hear that? I hear nothing. I am deaf. There is a distant sound of bubbling water. We're almost there. Secretly, I'm relieved, as I don't think I could go much further. Just a little climbing. Oh yay, climbing. I hide my dismay. Where does he get his energy from? It's just at the top there. It's not as difficult to climb as it looks. That's what they all say. We are in front of an almost vertical rock face. Just copy me. He clambers up expertly. I manage to find a spot that will support my foot and start the climb. I make little progress before slipping and falling flat on my bum. I try again. This time I take it slow. Oh, this sounds like about the story of my life. Again, I fall. What happened to the benefits of catification the others keep going on about? The professor notices I'm having trouble and holds a hand out for me. I manage to climb up, just enough to take hold of him, and he lifts me the rest of the way. His strength is impressive. Curious, even. Not a fan of climbing, huh? Oh, I always wanted to be able to do rock walls, actually, in real life. I love the concept of climbing, rock climbing, and climbing walls. But I'm a fail cat. And I can't climb. I can't climb for shit. Okay, see you soon, headset. Can't say I've done much of it, Professor. Come along, then. I'll get you there. He pretty much pulls me all the way to the top, and then leads me to the entrance of a small cave. The sound of running water is very loud now. I instantly see why. A natural spring has cut its way through the rock and created a beautiful cascade of sparkling clear water. It looks delicious. I kneel down without thinking and begin to drink. It tastes amazing. As I come up for breath, I see the professor looking at me with suspicion. You should know better. It's never wise, under any circumstances, to ingest something that is unproven. But here on the island, it would be prudent to exercise more caution than usual. I feel embarrassed at my lack of consideration. Yes, of course, I wasn't thinking. I felt so thirsty, and it looked so good. Yeah, it's Sunday and Monday that I don't stream normally. Normally I start at 3 p.m. Every day except for Sunday and Monday. There's a couple of things have come up this week. It's been a little unusual. Hey, that's a good question, Mystic. What was everybody's favorite band in high school? I think for me, in high school, I was very into Evanescence and My Chemical Romance and those kinds of bands. More so Evanescence. Like, I still listen to Evanescence sometimes. Newsboys? I haven't heard a lot of Newsboys. You liked Bon Jovi? Fair enough. They were a Christian band. You're not in high school? You're below that? Okay. How much below that? because sometimes there's some spicy content that happens on this stream, and if you're like, I'd rather know that like your parents are aware of what you're watching, and that they're not going to disapprove of some of my edgier programming. Like in 5th grade? Okay. Well, how about then, like I said, make sure that your parents are aware of the content that you're watching, because like I said, some of my stuff is a little bit edgier. I'm usually geared towards an older audience. I am there is an actual physical actress behind the avatar, and I'm in my mid-30s. Yeah, there's a reason there's a mature content warning before my streams. Alright, so this water is tried and tested and safe for consumption. That's good. So I'm not super concerned with today's game. I don't think there's any mature content in it, but sometimes you're not going to know until you're already here. I'm going to time out Buttspot for a little bit. Buttspot is being a problem right now. Buttspot is being a little bit too vocal today. Hi, Shell. How are you doing today? Okay, what is in this water? We don't know. That's why we're here. We need more samples. We've been studying this water for months now, and we still know very little about it. Check your bag. Nobody's gonna delete anything. Few messages from Buttspot were deleted. That happens automatically when you use the quick links to time somebody out. I wish I could change that. I'd like the option to delete problematic messages and leave the good ones. Yeah. This has been set aside as a mature space. You have a point, Mystic. Okay. I'm going to... Busy with packing and everything? Good, good. I had a medical appointment today. That's why stream's a little late, Shell. It took... When my appointment for this morning got cancelled, I had to get a new appointment, and it was a 3-hour wait. I signed up for a new appointment at 10:30, and they couldn't get me in until 3 just for a quick blood draw. If it wasn't time sensitive, I would have just skipped it, but had to be done on a specific day. Okay. I am going to leave it up to my moderators, because normally this is a mature space, and I'm a little uncomfortable with having someone who's only in 5th grade interacting, because this has been set aside as a mature space, and there is some interesting, there is some edgier content that, you know, I just don't want you to get in trouble with your parents for watching the stream if you come in and, like, I'm playing Saints Row or something like that, you know? Mm-hmm. Shell, I'm gonna send you a private message. Yeah, I'm gonna send you a private message. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna whisper you, Shell. If I can figure out how to do it straight from OBS, because I don't have Twitch open. Okay, I'm gonna have to open up Twitch to do it. I'm glad you were digging, Mystic. That was a good question, because yeah. Actually, 5th grade is like 11. Isn't that too young to have a Twitch account in the first place? This is why parents need to monitor their children's activities online. True. Anyway, back to the water testing. Full to the brim with empty plastic bottles. Lots of water to carry back. Okay, that's going to be heavy as heck. It comes with the territory of being a kid. And to think I'm trying to have one of my own. On purpose, even. Alright. Alright. By the time all the bottles are full and back in my bag, it weighs a ton, but I feel like I can lift anything. The effect of the water is powerful. The professor has also packed his own rucksack with bottles. Now, I do want to point out that as the channel grows, it may be harder to weed out the actual kids coming into streams. But we're not going to stop trying. This does need to be an over 18 space. It would have, if a child had been here during yesterday's rant at the beginning of the stream, it would have been a death sentence for this channel. I would have never been able to be a VTuber again. As we make our way down the rock face and back to camp, I have no problem keeping up with the professor. I feel I could run all the way. However, as we get closer to home, I start to feel the effects wear off. My bag becomes unbearably heavy. The final limp into camp is torture, and I need to rest. Good. Thank you, Shell. As soon as I can, I will also, because that can be a problem. Okay, that was research. I have 3 more hearts. I'm going to save romance for later. Let's do recon. Recon 10 is the only one open right now. I hear my catalog beeping. I presume it's the professor. I tumble out of bed, half asleep, and fumble around looking for the device. I look at the screen and my eyes struggling to focus. This message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Welcome back, headset. Unknown number. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. Okay. Yes, I will come outside. My curiosity is roused. I have a feeling there's something important to learn from this stranger, so I throw on my clothes and crawl out of my tent. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? My catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. Who is this? This is called Perfect Date. It is a game. I played part of it way back at the beginning of my channel. But that was like 2 years ago. It's, well, long story short, the player character is a university graduate student who has the internship of a lifetime on Cat Island with Professor Pauper. And you're there to study the cats and the environment and find out why this island is so full of cats and basically nothing else. However, there's a good side of the island, where the research encampment is, and a bad side of the island where all of the not-so-nice cats live. All the cats that live near the research encampment are nice and sociable. But also, we got bitten by a feral, and now the player character is turning into a cat, and if she doesn't find the antidote, she'll be a cat permanently. Which doesn't sound too bad until you also realize that being a cat means that you'd lose your thumbs. Is that the only downside that I could find to being an actual, like, full-out cat? Well, maybe that and also being spayed. Lose your... Yeah. I'm not going any further until you tell me who you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. No. Unless I make video game controllers suitable for cats. Don't you go giving me invention ideas now. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Stop! By now, I realize I have walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest, I see something on the ground. As I get closer, it becomes clear that it's a small posy of flowers. I gingerly pick them up and notice several flower heads are missing. My catalog beeps again. Follow the petals. And that's when I see the trail of little orange petals, the same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far. No turning back now. I begin to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out. Hello? No answer. Louder this time. Hello? Hello? Who is that? Who goes there? Major? Is that you, Floofy Butt? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing at? Cavorting around the forest in the dead of night causing a ruckus. Oh, Major, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help. And this can't wait until a civilized hour. I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating it. I've been getting messages from an anonymous source asking me to follow them into the forest. Look, they've left a trail. Ah, Calendula maritima, marigolds, herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity, though some believe them to be symbols of cruelty and grief. I was told at church that they were the flower of the Virgin Mary. Of course, some of the ladies at that church had some interesting ideas to begin with, so... Spooky... Oh, tomorrow's Friday the 13th. Shell, do you have time to do a Phasmophobia collab tomorrow, instead of my Make with Mallow that I was gonna do? I think tomorrow was going to be Make with Mallow. Let me check my schedule on the Twitterverse. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be Make with Mallow. Do you want to do a Phasmophobia instead, Shell? Not sure. Your sister and niece may be here, if so you can't. Okay, fair enough. Old church ladies are pretty much witches without the witchcraft when it comes to weird ideas. Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Well, let me know by about 1-ish. If you know or not. I may do some Spooky's House of Jump Scares if you're not available. I haven't done that in a while. Or if not Spooky's, maybe I'll play Phasmophobia solo. No, I better not play Phasmophobia solo. I'll figure it out. You could give me a copy of Sunless Sea. If you have a spare copy. You've given me a lot of games this month. I don't want you spending all of your money on me, Mystic. It's a Humble Bundle backlog? Okay. In that case, yes. If Sunless Sea is a good spooky game to play, I would love that. Floofy Butt goes striding off with purpose. Come along then, Mallowcat. Are you going to follow this trail or not? I shuffle awkwardly behind him. Before the sun comes up, eh? We continue on for a short while and notice that the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more difficult to see them, until eventually they seem to run out and we find ourselves at a small clearing. Well, it appears somebody has been playing a joke on you. I sadly agree. This has been nothing but a wild goose chase. Spooky in a Lovecrafty and existential terror way. Perfect! You're already interested in it and you have no idea what kind of game it is. Alright, let me know tonight if you can do Phasmo. I'd still like the copy of Sunless Sea because I will play it anyway because it sounds right up my alley as well as headsets. And I think the whole channel would have a lot of fun with it. All you had to say was Lovecrafty and existential terror, and this cat's on board. Seems so, Major. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Let's go back to our beds before we waste any more precious snooze time on this fool. I turn to Floofybutt and notice that his back is arched and his fur puffed up, making him look even more floofy than usual. Is something wrong, Major? You tell me, human! Does that pile of rocks look suspicious to you? Amongst myriad rock piles, I notice a small, contrived-looking cairn. Floofybutt's right. It looks far from natural. That looks to me like it's asking to be inspected, Major. Well, get to it, Mallowcat. You're the one with thumbs. I begin to dismantle the small mound, rock by rock. It's not until the foundation stone is removed that we find a manila envelope. Major, look! It's a letter! Looks rather large for a letter, my dear. I think you ought to open it. Here, or back at the base. Having got you this far, I think it's only fair that I have an equal share of the spoils. Spoils? Yes, perhaps we should look right now, Major. As I'm speaking, I've torn into the envelope. Well, out with it. It looks like drawings. What sort of drawings? I'm not sure, but they look quite old. Antique, even. But do they have value, human? Probably to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. Why would someone lead me to these? How do you know that you were meant to find them? Because we followed a trail and it led us here? Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be a mere coincidence. I hardly see the intrigue in a few old scribbles. They show no artistic flair at all. Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on the island. Floofybutt rolls his eyes. You really ought to focus more on the clues that matter instead of running around in the middle of the night on wild goose chases. Let's head back before anybody discovers you're missing. I roll the drawings up and tuck them into my waistband. I will study them when I have more time. I think Floofybutt is probably right, but I don't want to miss a trick. Get some rest now, Mallowcat. Finally, a sensible suggestion. I head after Floofybutt, struggling to keep up. I really need some sleep. Okay. Research, recon, or romance today. And rest tomorrow. I've already done research and recon. Yeah, that's a possibility. Okay. Yeah, that's a possibility, Shell. You could do both. Or I could just do Sunless Sea, and we can do Phasmo another day. I'd like to do Stardew Valley again with you and Alice soon, too. I'm gonna... do some romance. Why does Snooty Booty have a broken heart here? Okay, looks like we're gonna romance McMurphy again. I suspect at the end of the game they might all turn back into humans, because I have a strong suspicion that all the cats that are actually talking to me were once also researchers on this island. I'm sweltering in the mess tent. Typical for me to get cook duty on the hottest day so far. I step out for a moment to try to catch some air. Psst. I'm not sure if I really heard something, or if the dehydration is getting to me. I take a swig from my water bottle. Thank you, Mystic. Hey, aren't you gonna share? Oh, McMurphy, was that you pisting? What are you suggesting, Kala? I only use designated litter areas. Oh my gosh! I said pisting, not pissing! It's the background music meows. I think when there's a cat on the screen, there's meows every so often in the background music, yes. It is, isn't it? Murph, you are incorrigible. You know exactly what I meant. Come on, Kala. Never mind all that. We have work to do. I am working. I'm supposed to be cooking for this evening. I'm in work of the adventure and variety. You're also sending me crying sons. When I've got a break moment, I should check out all I've gotten. I will. Oh, of course you do. Ah, come on, don't be such a bore. I'm sorry, McMurphy, but I can't. I'm very busy here. It's gonna take hours to defrost and braise this meat from the mainland. Well, if you come with me, you may end up providing a must-taste for your dish in half the time. What do you say, Kala? You up for the crack? What are you saying? You mean I should just bunk off? That's the spirit. Strip off your apron and let's hit the trail. But I can't just... What if someone comes looking for me? Leave him a note. Gone fishing. Maybe it's the heat, but I'm overcome with a moment of madness. Well, okay then, you wild Irish rover. I'm all yours. Now there's a thought. You dirty old tomcat. Don't think I don't see that face in the corner. Wow. Wait, Murph, it's too hot to run. Then we really ought to cool ourselves off, eh? He's led me up to the cliffs, and without warning takes a running jump off the edge. I see him flying through the air and watch mesmerized as he cuts through the water. Oh no! Murphy, are you okay? Don't panic, I'm coming! I kick off my flip-flops and shorts and follow him into the water. I'm surprised at how shallow it is, and that I'm easily able to stand. Murph, where are you? I frantically search about, fearing for his safety, and suddenly feel something brush against my legs, making me scream out loud. What's that? I look down into the clear water and see McMurphy speeding along the seabed like a shark, fast and sleek. and suddenly breaking up through the surface with something in his mouth. "McMurphy, you can swim? What on earth is that thing?" "Oh, it's a fish." I can see he's smiling, even with the sprat in the way. "You can fish!" He spits the fish back into the water. "There truly is no end to my talents, Kara." "You can say that again. But, I have so many questions I don't even know where to start." "Catch your breath, Kara. I know I'm exhilarating company, but you need to exercise a little bit of restraint or you'll be swooning on me next. Relax. The salt water is very buoyant." I copy McMurphy, and we both lie with our backs on the surface. It's very calming and tranquil, and I'm finally able to collect my thoughts. I realize I've not had this much clarity in a long time. Pointer laughs at the Crypto Bros. "What happened to the Crypto Bros this time? Did they get hacked again?" "This is so cool!" "I know. Trixie took me here first. Calls it the Ponder Pool." They're sad that crypto is crashing. But what did they think was gonna happen? You can't get something from nothing forever. "Oh, can you all swim then? I thought cats..." Before I can even finish my sentence, McMurphy cuts in. "It's a common misconception that cats can't swim. As you can see, it's another thing we excel at." Cats just don't like being put in the water against their will. That's the problem. There are breeds of cats that specialize in swimming. "You're amused because some of my forced pre-roll ads are for investing in crypto and those have vanished. That's hilarious. All those crypto millionaires are going to be crypto homeless in a few." Yup, pretty much. So humble, too. "As Nana McMurphy used to say, if you've got a trumpet, blow it." "What about the fish? Where did they come from?" "There are no birds or fish on this island. It's one of the very first things they tell you in orientation." "That's just because they don't know." "Don't know what?" It's better if I just show you. Come on, Kala, follow me." We swim for a while, with McMurphy leading the way with purpose, and then he stops. In a few minutes, months, you want to think minutes. If you had working foresight, you totally would have bought Bitcoin and then sold the day before the crash. Yeah, same, truthfully. I mean, it's probably, they won't be able to sell it quick enough. No, they won't. No, they won't. And the faster they sell, the harder it will drop, too. That's the beauty of fake money like stock markets and cryptocurrencies. Oh shit, it's crashing! Sell, sell, sell! Why is it crashing harder? Because it's not real. It exists only in your head and some banker's computer. And they want to call me mentally ill. I see Buttspot's timeout has expired. That's okay. That was a good one, though. They are being pretty buddy. Here's a dragon catbird trapped in a human body. You don't like the idea of a cashless society because the only thing that actually is worth anything is gold and money, but if we get rid of money, then we're fucked. Yeah. That's a good point. Like, I don't want to go to a completely cashless society either. Is because what happens if the computers go down? You can't buy anything. Well, notice anything interesting? Well, the water's much cooler and deeper here. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Can you feel anything? I stand perfectly still for a moment and begin to feel a strange sensation around my legs, like a warm trickling under the water. Murphy, are you peeing? When you were 4 or 5, you stole $2. It was more a forced exchange for some art. If a 4-year-old grabs the tuna you have and gives you a painting and runs off, you just deal with it. Yeah, pretty much. It's just like no matter how biker and badass you are, no matter how biker and badass you are, if a toddler or a preschooler walks up and hands you a ringing toy phone, you answer that thing. All we need is one big solar flare for all the electronics to go bye-bye. That is true. It's almost happened a few times before. And in fact, had we had electronics back in the days of the Carrington event, that's exactly what would have happened. We just need another Carrington event level solar flare and all our electronics will go poof. And we'll be back to the Middle Ages and we're all going to be fucked and we're all going to die because there will be no hospitals, no planes, no cars, no computers, no debit cards. Mm-hmm. We will be. We will be. I need a 5-minute break. I will be right back. I swear, my bladder only holds like 2 ounces lately. It'll play out like the Fallout series where the metal bottle caps are the currency. Possibly. Possibly. Anyway. Alright. Now that I'm untangled from my headphones cord, I'm gonna go pee. Need this for my normal music for stream. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, it is very cute, isn't it? Hey, Maggie, I have started the oven. When it preheats, I'm going to let you choose what actually goes in. I'm thinking either an Italian sausage ravioli or a or a mac and cheese. Look at the stuff you gave me. Right, I was supposed to do that. Okay, give me a second. Oh my goodness. So many things. There's definitely meows in the background of this song in particular. I can hear this one. Okay, once I've claimed all of these, I'll check my email and see what you actually sent me, and then I'll install them all on Steam after the stream. Okay, Humble Bundle got mad at me for redeeming too many gifts. And no, I said either a mac and cheese or an Italian sausage lasagna. They're exactly the same as shepherd's pies. I already sent you reset. I already turned on the oven. It's 60 to 65 minutes for each of them. They're the same temperature and instructions as the shepherd's pie and the chicken lasagna that I buy sometimes. Yes, I noticed the question because right before I left for my own pee break, the player character suddenly felt some interesting warmth in the water. You want to make sure you didn't forget to add some of these. They're not stuff you'd play, so it keeps them from going to waste. Fair enough. Okay, now let me hop over to my email and just see the list of what you gave me. Superliminal? I've been wanting to play that one. Neon Abyss, Crying Suns, Light Matter. I'm not familiar with that game, but it sounds like fun. Sunless Sea. Lovecraft's Untold Stories. That sounds interesting. Lots of interesting stuff to add to Steam after stream. Does anyone else knows? Okay, perfect. Now, McMurphy, are you peeing? Don't be so crude, Kala. It's a current. Look over there. I refocus my eyes until they see that what I thought was a rock shadow is moving. It comes closer into focus, and I realize it's a shoal of small fish darting in and out of one particular spot. What is that? I don't understand what I'm looking at. Isn't it enough to just see, Kala? To experience? You always have to understand everything. Yes. I do always have to understand everything. Well, yes, that's my job. It's who I am, McMurphy. I'm a scientist. It's in my DNA to seek to understand. My thoughts exactly. But much better at Englishing than I am. Come on then, scientist. Let's take a closer look. We move closer to the area where the fish are gathered. I put my hand down and realize I can touch them and even pick them up, but something is stopping them from swimming further inland. McMurphy, we need to get going. I'm going to be in big trouble if I'm away for any longer, but thank you for showing me this. I'm definitely going to come back here to try to understand it. I wouldn't waste your time, could I? It wouldn't be a waste. I'm committed to finding out all I... He cuts across me as I'm speaking. I meant coming back to this particular spot. The fishes won't be here. Oh, I see. It's only at certain times? And different locations. It changes all the time. There's no pattern to it either, so you'd just be sticking pins in maps, Kara. I brought you here because I saw them this morning. Chances are they'll be gone by this afternoon. The disappointment must be apparent on my face, because McMurphy switches lanes super fast to distract me. Okay, Kara, it's time to strip off. What? The t-shirt would make a lovely net. Let's go fishing. I'm going fishing topless. I whip off my top and use it as a net to scoop up as many fish as possible. It's quite effective. Great idea, Murphy. Now you can rustle up a tasty fish dinner in no time at all, and you get to enjoy my company for an extra hour. Win-win, Kara. Okay, so now I have a little challenge for you. That, Kara, is music to my ears. There's little I like more than a gauntlet thrown. Well, it's hardly a gauntlet, more of a brain teaser. How am I going to explain to the rest of the team my bountiful ocean offering? Gonna lurk and play the tenants for a bit while you cook dinner and make tea? Sounds great! Oh, I tell them anything at all. Because they're gonna notice that we're eating something that wasn't on the delivery list or the menu rote and tastes way too fresh for something recently defrosted. Love my accent for the kitty. I play a lot of dwarves and gnomes in fantasy settings, so playing so many dwarves, I've perfected my Irish accent over the years. Isn't The Tenants the new game by the people that made House Flipper? It is very small portions, but yeah, Fork and Pork is like a gourmet mac and cheese place. They're alright, but it's super small portions and a little expensive. Which is fine for Mystic. Mystic has a small tummy. But for me, I'd have to order like 3 of their mac and cheeses to feel full. Tenants is a new game published by the same people who made House Flipper, but by a different developing company. Okay, same publisher, different developers. That makes sense. no shame in being a small dragon. A small dragon with a small tummy. Nothing wrong with that. You just eat smaller amounts more often to keep yourself going. Exactly. Smaller portions more often. Which honestly is the healthier way to do it. But I'm a dumbass who keeps forgetting to eat. I eat like twice a day, so... Sometimes the tummy wants a big meal, sometimes it wants a small meal. Yep, exactly. You worry far too much about things that really don't matter, Kala. I know he's right. I could do with loosening up a little, but this is a pretty big dilemma, really. Maybe I ought to tell Professor Popper about this. What's the harm? Mac has stopped splashing around and looks me squarely in the eyes. There would be harm, Kala. Trust me on that. Obviously, I don't mean I'd tell him about you or anything that would endanger any of us. Because I noticed a shoal of fishes and I took some. End of. You really think you could mention a phenomenon like this and that would be the end of it? That he wouldn't start putting all manner of investigations and disruptions in place? You are touchingly naive, my friend. I feel myself blush. I am being a bit naive, but I don't like the thought of lying. So what do you suggest then, if you know so much about everything? Give me a plausible story, and I'll follow through. McMurphy lets out a wild howl and splashes water at me. Now that's what I like to hear, you impetuous daredevil, you! I splash him back, and a furious water fight ensues. Hey, Madge. At the last 10 minutes of cooking, I want you to put the oven temperature... No, don't put the oven temperature up. The last 10 minutes of cooking, put 2 slices of the garlic toast on a tray and stick them in underneath the lasagna on the lower rack.
Okay, underneath the lasagna on the lower rack.
Normally the garlic toast goes in at like 425 for 5 minutes, but there is absolutely no reason since is that the Italian sausage lasagna?
Yep, that's the one.
There's no reason to like since that goes in at 350, just double the time and cook the garlic toast and it'll be a little extra crispy. But I like my garlic toast a little extra crispy.
Okay, and later time on the...
later time on the Italian sausage lasagna.
Okay.
It's got pork in it, and I don't trust frozen foods with pork in it unless it's on the upper time.
Okay, so I'll put this in and then last time. Got it.
Yep. You miss being able to eat garlic bread? I don't have it very often. I've been finding that, especially since I've been taking letrozole, I get reflux a lot easier. But I figure if I'm having cheesy pasta anyway, I might as well have some lasagna because I'm going to have to take something to keep my tummy from getting angry anyway. I splash him back and a furious water fight ensues. We are making such a ruckus, I'm amazed no one comes to check what's going on. After a good 10 minutes of laughter and play, we run out of steam and float in the buoyant, warm water. You have reflux and nausea for a few days after, if you have more than a few bites and you can't control yourself. That's why I'm literally only having Madge make 1 slice for each of us. If we made the whole package, I'd eat the whole package, and that's not good for my blood sugar or my newfound reflux problems. It's hard to resist the garlic bread, especially when it has cheese. Oh my god, yes. Cheesy garlic toast. Mozzarella and a little sprinkle of Parmesan. Pain for the rest of the week, but oh so delicious. My tummy's growling now. Let's hear it then, Oz. What's my cover story? It's a very simple case of raisin bluffing. Okay. Make a simple but delicious meal, and if anyone asks where the fish came from, shrug your shoulders and ask the same question. Huh? It's all in the poker face. You remain completely impassive and ask the same question back. Yeah, I wondered that too. Where did the fish come from? They're delicious. Really? Trust me, Clara. As a cat who is forever risking one of his 9, the simpler you keep it, the more they buy it. If they ask you where you got them from, you tell them the fridge. Simple. Yes, one for each of us, please, Madge. I feel quite giddy at the prospect of getting away with a ruse. Okay, Murph, let's gather the supper. We have an abundance in no time, and I haul my catch back to the kitchen in good time to make a tasty meal for everyone. And a little extra for my feline pals. Yay! I think today I should rest. Rest and refill my hearts. You had a lovely nap and wake up feeling revitalized. Your energy has been restored, like magic. Okay. Some more research. Let's finish up the research. No! I'm not finishing the research. I may finish the recon, though. Okay, there's no more recon to do until I've reached chapter 2, I guess? So I suppose it's romance time again. I don't see in particular what was romantic about that either. I got all the innuendos, but to me it just seemed like friends hanging out. And I'm super heckin' romantic. Alright, McMurphy. Let's try this again. It's too beautiful a day to be slaving in a hot lab, so when Murph invited me for a stroll, it was easy to say yes. Not that I'd need much incentive to spend time with him. He's very engaging company. We've come to one of my favorite spots, where the cliffs... I thought that was Murphy talking. Oops. We've come to one of my favorite spots, where the cliffs sweep upwards above the blue water. Suddenly, and without any warning, McMurphy plunges over the top of the towering rocks. I run to the cliff's edge, with my heart in my mouth, to see what's happened. And there's a sight I still haven't gotten used to. He's in the water, more otter than cat, waving for me to follow. Jump, Kara! Jump! Sure, the water's grand! McMurphy! I'm shocked by the shrillness of my voice. I hadn't intended it to be quite such a shriek. I was aiming for a stern admonishment. That's dangerous! You could do yourself serious injury or worse from such a height. Oh, psh! Come on, Kara! Oh, you want to get to see the little supplies I have in store. You've already surprised me enough for one day. Which one of us is meant to be the pussy? Oh my goodness, them's fighting words! At this, I am filled with indignance that takes over my body, and before I know it, I'm halfway between the ledge and the water, bracing for impact. This way! I'm still catching my breath as McMurphy's head disappears under the surface. My mind is saying, no, this is ridiculous. Get back to the land this instant. But my body is following the Irish cat. I know, right? My eyes take a moment to adjust, but when they do, I can hardly believe what I'm looking at. It's a ship. As we approach from the stern, it looks pretty much intact. I can see the name on the rear port side, and though faded and worn away in parts, I can read. The words are unmistakable. Kitty's Desire. My head is swimming due to the excitement and lack of oxygen. I flounder to the surface to catch my breath. Kitty's Desire? I feel like I know that name. McMurphy eventually bobs up to join me on the surface. Surprised? A shipwreck? Here? This is a very old island, Kala. A lot has happened here. But how did a ship even get here before the path was made? Don't ask me, Kala. I'm just in it for the grog. McMurphy smiles and dives back into the murky depths. I follow, a flailing flesh bag in comparison to Murphy's sleek figure. I try to get a closer look at the wreckage. It's a big ship, likely a trading vessel judging from the size. It's hard to tell how old it is, but it certainly isn't modern. Maybe 18th, 19th century? When we enter the ship from a huge hole in the stern, I realize that a lot of the vessel is actually on land, and it's obvious that it ran ashore after it was damaged at sea. It's not much time to ponder the mechanics of what happened, as McMurphy is tugging at my t-shirt with his right paw, while gesturing with his other paw outstretched to a cabin he wants me to enter. I'm grateful for the air trapped inside and gasp for breath. Here, Kala, look! Hang on, let me catch my... But he's already ducked into the next cell. How is he not out of breath? I realize his ability to swim underwater is unusually strong, but he barely breaks the surface at all. In here, through the hole! He sounds really excited, and as I enter, I see why. There, in the center of the cabin, is a chest. It's wedged between the wall and a surprisingly well-preserved writing desk, the only thing preventing it from falling and being buried in the sand. A treasure chest. I sound like a giddy child and feel embarrassed, but McMurphy joins in my glee, and suddenly we're cheering and laughing together. Go on then! Open it, Kara! Okay. Well, what are you waiting for? A key? Ah, does it need one? Of course it does, Murph. It's a locked treasure chest. Can you not just break the lock? Who do you think I am, Houdini? I don't know about that, but I do know you're a very clever scientist whose thirst for knowledge matches my thirst for grog. So you get yours, and I'll go get mine. Heckin' alcoholic. The Moggy grins before darting into the next cabin, and I hear the familiar clinking of bottles shortly after. I decide to try the lock anyway while McMurphy's getting his. I look around for something, anything I could lever it with, and I am disappointed. Everything except the chest and desk must have been washed away a long time ago. It is a tad stereotypical of Irish cats, but... oh well. What do you do with the drunken sailor, am I right? We'll have to come back with some tools to tackle that lock, Murph. There's no response. McMurphy is obviously still busy with his looting and pillaging, so I decide to swim to the beach to get a better look at this wreck from land. When I can take in the scene properly, I can make out what looks like another large ship just a bit further down the beach. I can hardly believe what I'm seeing. One huge vessel finding its way to this island is strange enough, but two meeting the same unhappy fate is more than my brain can process. The proximity of the pair would suggest a collision of some kind. Possibly the second vessel could have been a pirate ship. Maybe it was attacking the merchant vessel. I get the feeling I'm looking at the conclusion of a very interesting story here. I wonder why Professor Popper didn't tell me about it. Obviously, he must be aware of the two vessels. My nose for intrigue has started to twitch, and I am burning to know more. I decide to take some of the debris, splinters, and small chunks of metal and pocket it for later analysis in the lab. And I'm satisfied that I've thoroughly combed the beach for specimens and have salvaged anything of interest. I realize that I haven't seen McMurphy for quite a while. My heart stops and the hairs on my neck stand on end. How could I have been so wrapped up in my work that I neglected to keep an eye on my friend? McMurphy? I'm met with silence and still water. I run back towards Kitty's Desire, my heart thumping in my chest. McMurphy? I jump in the sea and swim back to the stern of the ship. There doesn't seem to be any life around here. I break through the surface with a choke and try to call out again, but my throat is hoarse and full of salt water. Where? I catch the sight of a shadow crawling out the corner of my eye, crawling along the seabed. I dive underwater to get a better look and see instantly that it's the Irish cat, stalking and prowling as if he were on land. I quickly grab him by the scruff of the neck and drag him back to shore. McMurphy, you loon! What on earth were you playing at? I catch my breath and check on him, but he's happily rolling on his back in the sand. Me? I was having a grand time until you manhandled me with those big meaty paws of yours. What? Having a what? Calm down, Clara. You look like you're gonna pop. You'd been under the water for ages. I didn't see you come up for air once. I've been blessed with fantastic breathing apparatus. But I didn't know that, did I? And you were worried about me. Ah, Clara, now that's very touching indeed. I feel like a damsel in distress, rescued by a charming... I don't allow him to finish his sentence. You may think you're very clever and funny, but let me assure you that no one else here is laughing. Jumping off cliffs without warning and drinking while you're swimming? Not very clever at all. He's bringing people to the island for the purpose of experimentation. He might be. I wasn't drinking while I was swimming. That'd be impossible. I know. I've tried. Oh, McMurphy, never change. The more cross I am, it seems, the more amusing McMurphy finds it. You may not realize it, mister, but I have a duty of care towards you. All of you cats. So if something happens to me, you're afraid you'd get into trouble. Oh, and here I was, thinking you cared about me because you like me. He's deliberately turning this around, and it infuriates me further. Stop being so manipulative. You know how much I care for you. Of course I do. But you can be very tricky too, you know. Shall we open this? He's reached over to a bottle of grog he's taken from the wreck. You look like you could use something to take the edge off. No, McMurphy, I do not want any of that, thank you very much. So what is it that you do want, Clara? He flashes me a raffish grin. I want you to stop being quite so reckless. You'll give me a heart attack. Well, much as your heart is of considerable concern to me, Clara, I'm afraid I can't promise to stop being what I am. It's like asking the wind to stop blowing. The wind does stop blowing, sometimes. He lets out a long laugh. You really are a scientist, Clara. Nothing will ever change that, eh? I understand what he's saying. I need to allow him to do his own thing. Okay, come on then. Let's start heading back. Actually, Clara, you go on ahead. I'll catch up with you later. He winks, and I am no doubt. And I... You just dropped a full ointment thing on your foot? Oh no! Are you okay? He winks, and I am in no doubt as to what he wants to do for the rest of the day. Oh, yeah. Put some ice on it! My sinuses are super upset today. Can I do any more reconnaissance yet? Unlocks after completing Recon 5. Unlocks after completing Chapter 1. I have to receive a gift from McMurphy, too. Okay. There is no recon that I can actually do today. It's the same foot Leia attacked the other night because you had it out from under the covers and got murdered. Oh no! Where is Snooty Booty though? And why has she got a broken heart over her image? Leia is a murder kitty. As the sun is going down, I decide to retreat into my tent for the night. When I undo the flap, I see McMurphy curled up asleep on my pillow. Better a murder kitty than a murder hobo, right? Oh yeah. Definitely. McMurphy, you're gonna get fur all over everything. Oh, hi there, Cla. You're back late, you rapscallion. Why are you in my bed? Oh, come now. We both knew I'd get in your bed eventually, didn't we? McMurphy! There you are, being a dirty old tomcat again. Can you get your mind out of the gutter or the bottle for 5 minutes? My hand reaches for the spray bottle, but McMurphy throws up his paws defensively. Cocky little blighter. Exactly. Absolutely. I'm an unarmed cat, Kala, and I actually came to give you something for good behavior. Don't make me send it back now. Give me something? What? Ah, sure. Now you're listening. I found something just might interest you. If it's more of that grog, McMurphy, I can assure you I'm not interested in the slightest. I sit on the end of my bunk and push him off my pillow, but allow him to stay on the bed. As he moves reluctantly aside, I can see a black corner poking out from under my blanket. What's that? Why don't you take a look? I eye him skeptically, nervous of what he's roping me into now. Tell me what it is first. Ah, will you just pick it up, Kala? It won't bite. I carefully reach for it and realize it's a small leather book, beautifully aged, and yet seems to be in good condition. I open it as gently as I can, for fear that it might turn to ash in my hands. On the first page, smudged and faded, but not destroyed by time or water, are the words, Captain's Log. Oh my. This could be important. I can't stop myself from gasping out loud. Oh, Murph, how did you find this? There's a lot you can find at the bottom of a bottle, or 12. Are you impressed? Impressed? Speechless. I could kiss your furry little head. Well, don't let me stand in the way of you and your passion. You nasty old tomcat. He thinks he's getting lucky, doesn't he? I hardly notice he's still speaking, as I've begun trying to decipher the entries, and I'm instantly engrossed. 1789. The men are getting restless. I begin to fear for the continued safe running of this vessel, my vessel, of which they are in mind to take ownership, if my captain's instincts serve me right. Ooh, we've got a mutiny. Down McMurphy bad. Are you listening? Oh, sorry, what? I said, maybe I should leave you to it then. Yes. No, wait, McMurphy, tell me where you really got this from. Was it the treasure chest? No, Kala. Would you believe it? That thing was full of nothing but sand and salt water. That bit of treasure, on the other hand, I found at the bottom of one of my crates of grog, hidden in between the bottles. But this belongs to a captain. Why would it be with the crew's provisions? I'll let you figure that one out, Brainiac. Think of it as a puzzle to keep you amused on all your cold, lonely nights. McMurphy smirks and saunters out of my tent. He's mad that he didn't get a kiss, isn't he? Dirty old tomcats. They never change. Isn't that right, Maggie? Alright, I've unlocked Recon 15. Good to know now that I'll get a notification when stuff unlocks. This diary could have some invaluable information in it. The book McMurphy gave me is sitting on my lap. I wonder what a pirate's diary is doing on this island. Maybe there will be some clues within. The log reads, I felt an almighty crash, and then silence and stillness everywhere. It took a few seconds to gather my thoughts and understand what had happened here. If it would ever really be possible to understand this godforsaken place and how we got so far off course to reach here. But in that moment, immediately after we hit the rocks, I knew two things. I was alive, and we were on land. And I felt grateful. It felt like a chance at survival, and I was determined to grasp it. I felt my legs, intact, thank God, and began crawling over the slate and shingle that seemed to stretch upward to eternity. What type of place was this? Your character is always a university graduate student. The character is always a university graduate student, but there's like 3 female characters and 3 male characters to pick from, and you get to pick your own name. Yeah, you do get to choose your character. There's the blonde girl that I'm playing. There's a black girl. And there's is it only available on Steam? Mystic gave it to me, so I'm gonna say it was probably a Humble Bundle thing. And I think Humble Bundle has options for Steam or other platforms. Let me look it up. It's available on Steam. It looks like it's available on iOS. Yeah, it's only available on Steam and iOS right now. Which is unfortunate. But I understand why, because a lot of the other platforms, like, it's harder for indie developers to actually get their game out on and keep everything updated. Darkness was falling fast, but I needed to make sure we would be safe in this unexplored terrain. Who knew what would happen during the long night? What creatures it may bring, even what strange meteorological anomalies. Looking at the sky, I felt anything was possible, and we ought to be prepared. We had to work fast. I assembled the men, raggle-taggle though we were, into some kind of orderly unit, in the hope that the familiarity of discipline would raise morale. We were all tired, cold, and hungry. Some of us needed medical attention. This was not going to be easy. but it's what I was trained for, and I would rather die than let my men down. We need to make some shelter. My voice sounded thin and weak against the sound of the waves crashing. At first light, I looked around and began to take stock properly. It was gratifying to see that the temporary shelter we had cobbled together last night was still intact, and no disasters had befallen us to add to the difficulties we were already burdened with. Considering the conditions we erected this makeshift cover in, and how short a time, I felt heartened for the first time since we were out at sea, before the strange electrical storm began that ended with us being thrust here against the unforgiving rocks of this terrifying place. We could do so much more with daylight on our side and food in our bellies. So they were shipwrecked on this island. The thought of being the first inhabitants here is terrifying. How on earth did they survive? Maybe they didn't. I want to believe they were rescued, but that seems unlikely. I'll read more this evening. As I put the book away, a small piece of paper falls into my lap. It must have been hidden amongst the pages of the log. It's a note. Maybe a letter. Sally, I know you worry for me, but do not. The men do not treat me bad. They give me food and do not beat me so much anymore. The captain is not so fearsome as what they say, and is giving me lessons on my writing. I am improving. I practice all night because I can't sleep. I work hard, sometimes till my hands crack and bleed, but I still use them every morning to pray for you, that you are safe and well, and that we will be together once again. I miss you so much. The seas have not been smooth. Sometimes I worry that we will capsize completely and be lost out here forever, but I would swim the wildest ocean back to you, my sweet sister. I hope you are practicing your writing too. I would like to read your clever poems again. Your loving brother, Jim. What the hell is going on here? What a sweet letter. I wonder what became of Jim. Well, rest day today, obviously. I've decided to catch up on some rest and relaxation, like the professor keeps telling me to, so I've come down to the jetty where Zane usually sits. Today isn't a delivery day, and as I was hoping, he's nowhere in sight. I sit with my legs dangling over the edge and take out my sketchbook and pencils. I haven't done this in ages. It's so peaceful. I can get lost in my own little world when I'm drawing. I try doing a couple of landscapes, the mountain range in the distance, the trees of the forest, but nothing is really grabbing me. Then, as I'm daydreaming, staring into the water, I notice the patterns that the ripples form on the surface. They're unusual, I suppose because of the magnetic pole. The effect is beautiful. I end up sitting for over an hour just trying to capture it on the page. Aw, that was sweet. The last romance with McMurphy. I'm out later than usual this evening. I've been feeling restless and not sleeping great. I wonder if it's the transition progressing in me. I feel a pang of fear, but soothe myself with the knowledge that I'm working hard on the antidote and I've made some headway with it. My thoughts are interrupted by an unfamiliar sound. I'm not afraid. I've come to know the island so well, and on this end, I know I'm totally safe. I'm led by my curiosity as usual. My senses are so attuned to this place now that I know instantly if something is out of the ordinary. It's a very determined scraping, and it's coming from behind a large tree. I think some kitties just using the box. You might want to give them some privacy. I creep around silently as possible, so as not to alert the perpetrator, but the noise stops. There is a standoff, both of us silent, until Cala, what are you doing creeping around in the middle of the night? I exhaled loudly. McMurphy, you had me going for a minute there. Spying on me, were ya? Of course not. I heard a noise, and what was the noise? My, what a sticky little beak you have. He laughs, but I still feel a bit embarrassed. I cast my eyes downward and notice he has scraped all the moss and leaves from the surrounding area and piled them together into a kind of nest. Looks cozy. That's the plan, Cala. Ah, a night under the stars, eh? Yep, a McMurphy special. Got some grog for the occasion. You know me so well, Cala. Well, fortunately for you, I couldn't sleep, so... I see McMurphy's body language change, and intuitively knows that he's feeling awkward. That's so rare for him. I rack my brains, and in a nanosecond get an answer. He doesn't want me here. It's like a physical blow that wins me for a second before I can say anything. Oh no, I wasn't inviting myself. I actually have work to do tonight. It just meant I'm glad I got to say hi. I feel like an idiot twittering on. Well, now, I didn't really think you'd be wanting to lay out all night, catching the breeze with me. If I thought there was a chance you'd be up for it, I would have loved to have you along. Sure, so enjoy. I'm about to leave, but something stops me. Why didn't you? He looks surprised. What's that, Cala? Why didn't you think I'd want to stay up all night? Even as I say the words, I recognize how ludicrous they sound. Me, staying out all night? Risking being late for work? Because, well, come on, Cala, because you're you. He laughs, not unkindly, more fondly. And fantastic though you are, you're not, well, like me. A good thing too, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, you're right. Night-night, Murph. Have fun. Yes, Cala, that is most definitely on the cards. As I make my way back to camp, I'm passed by 3 vivacious young cats, frisky and giggling. They're heading in the same direction I've just come from. It makes me smile and sad at the same time. McMurphy's gonna have a night of it. I told you he was a dirty old Tom. I cannot do any more recon or romance. I have to end the game by doing the research. Anything else I can do? Other than rest? Okay. I guess I have to do the research. Today I'm in the lab doing flora research. It's not the most exciting job, but if I keep my head down, I can get through it quickly enough. It really just consists of unpacking the new samples of plants and flowers that the professor and I have collected on our foraging expeditions and logging them into the database of organic substances on the computer. Most of them are commonplace plants that grow abundantly in the forest, but occasionally we come across something more rare, exotic even. One of the samples I'm looking at today is Calendula incana maritima, which is very interesting indeed. I can't help speculating that it's been cultivated in the marigold's little greenhouse and then transplanted into open ground. I'm distracted momentarily by the sound of clinking glass, and I turn to see the beautifully manicured paw of a Sphinx cat tapping on a beaker, nudging it perilously close to the edge of the counter. Boots! Stop that! You're not supposed to be in here! She laughs as though I've told a joke. That's a frightfully pretty flower. Calendula incana maritima, if I'm not mistaken. You never cease to amaze me, Boots. How on earth did you know that? Why, I make it my business to know all about rare and valuable works of art. Art? Why not? It's been created like a sculpture or a painting. The marigolds are the true artists in the garden. Huh, I wondered if they had something to do with this. It's so unusual, even in its natural swampy habitat. But to have it growing here in the forest is very out of the ordinary. Yes, its properties are extraordinary too, human. Well, I'm quite new to botanical science, so I probably don't know the half of it. Why don't you fill me in? Although I'm always happy to facilitate your learning, human, I simply can't stay here a moment longer. The air is so stale, don't you find? I ignore her sideways glance and upturned nose. Let's go to the beach and drink some coconut water, and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Snoots, I'm not going anywhere until I finish this. Don't be ridiculous. You can tinker about in here any time, but the sun will be gone in an hour or two. I'm not tinkering. This is my job. If I don't get it done, the professor will want to know why. Then explain to him you had better things to do. Snooty Booty, I won't tell you again. If he catches you here, Popper will cage you. Be careful with that flower, human. It doesn't do to inhale that fragrance too deeply. What? I turn to ask why and see her flounce out, knocking the beaker with a swish of her tail as she does. You did that on purpose! But she's gone, leaving me to clear up the broken glass. I've already loaded my bags onto the boat, and Joe, the ferryman's son, has told me rather rudely that if I'm not back in 15 minutes, they'll leave without me. And I won't be unloading your bags for you either, so I run as fast as I can to where I know he'll be at this time of day. I must see him one last time before I go. Mac! I've reached the shipwreck, but there's no sign of him. My heart lurches. I was sure he'd be here. I'm about to draw a picture for him in the wet sand when I hear a sound. It's coming from behind the wreck on the other side. It sounds like snoring. I creep around, not sure what I'll find, and there he is, sprawled out with an empty bottle of grog beside him. I deduce that he is drunk. McMurphy, you're drunk! It's morning! Ah, but I'm drunk from last night, Kara. That's decent enough. Well, I wanted to say goodbye properly, but I guess you won't remember anyway. Suddenly he's up and alert, like a different cat. Do you not know me at all, Kara? There's not one word that's passed between us that I couldn't recall right now and repeat verbatim. Not one look in your eye that I can't bring to mind. And he suddenly stops as though he's been slapped. You really going? I have to, you know that. If I don't get to the mainland and find some expert help soon, there will never be an antidote. I don't know if you're a hero or a fool, but I know that this island will not be the same without you. You know I'll be back, don't you? It's important that we all believe that. We must all keep the faith. You're right. I'll just miss you, that's all. And I'll miss you too, Kara. Ha! No one's ever called me that before. I have to go. The boat's leaving any minute. Come on, I'll show you a quicker way. And he set off at a pace I can just about keep up. We're at the jetty in no time. I bend down and nuzzle the fur on McMurphy's head before scrambling onto the boat. Saying your goodbyes? Yes, that's right, Joe. I wave as we make our way out to open water. Anyone would think them cats were your mates or something. They are, Joe. The best friends I've ever had. Oh dear. His whole demeanor has changed. What? Dad? What is it? Bob comes out from behind where he's been steering the vessel. Got a problem here, son? Yeah, Dad, this one's spoiled. I don't understand what's happening, but I sense it's not good. Okay, lad, you go steer the boat. Leave this one to me. And suddenly it's just me and Bob, and he's bearing down on me. It ain't personal, you understand, but we have to ensure things are contained. Then I see what looks like a gun in his hand. Am I about to get shot? Well, I'm glad we kicked the literal 10-year-old out before that happened. And this right here is why I'm marked mature audiences only. I can't play the same character again. I was not expecting that. I need a minute before I pick a new character. Let me take a 5 to 10 minute break. I'll be back in a little bit. Oh, I'm getting shot. It makes coming back to life a little bit more difficult next time around. Oh, while I was out there, I forgot to check to see if there was any coffee left. Was one of the things I went out there for. Go get some coffee. Okay, I'm back. I might want to play as this character this time. Mm. Chances on that being a tranquilizer that was shot? I don't know. It sounded like an actual gun. Anyway, I'm just gonna go with Mal. I'm gonna use the first part of my name since I'm playing a boy character this time. Or possibly a they character. Who knows? There are. But don't they usually sound a little different? Also, I'm fairly sure that was a very, very real round that just penetrated my skull. So this is the infamous Cat Island, the place I will call home for the next 2 months. When I initially received a letter saying I had been placed on the reserve list for the job, I thought that was probably a kind way of saying no thanks and put it out of my mind. So imagine my surprise when sometime later I got a call saying there was an opening for me, should I still be interested? I have a You okay, Match?
Yeah, I'm getting up the toast.
Okay, well you've been standing there for a while with the door open, so that's what I'm wondering.
Oh no, sorry.
Why are you holding a bag of bread?
I was getting stuff out to take the toast out and put it back.
What?
Back.
What?
The 2 slices for the
Okay,
thing.
yes. But I'm wondering why you needed to hold a bag of bread when the bread was on a totally different shelf from the toast.
I was getting out the Texas toast like you told me.
The Texas toast is in a box.
Yes, and there was a bag inside the box.
Oh, okay.
I had to get the bread out.
Okay. Next time, just take the whole box to the kitchen so you can put it directly on the tray instead of having to carry it across the house in your bare hands.
Okay, I'll know for next time.
I mean, that would have been common sense. You're just being hopeful because McMurphy doesn't need a broken kitty heart? Fair enough. I have a sudden pang of nerves that it's all a dream and rummage through my bag until I find the proof that puts my mind at ease. That's my name right there in the top left-hand corner, and his name at the bottom, the genius behind this whole operation. Professor Popper. Take all your belongings. We won't be back for days, so don't leave nothing you'll need. Thanks, Skipper. He totally ignores me, so I pick up my bags and disembark. And security! Yay, ID card! It meows every time I make a selection. This way. Back to the beautiful, beautiful Cat Island. Sorry, I had a mouthful of an apple. My blood sugar was crashing a little. Couldn't even wait the half hour that was left on the freaking lasagna because... After no more than a couple of minutes trekking, we're in base camp, which is modest but functional. It's a bit like glamping, really. Here's my tent. But no, this is Professor Popper's tent. I'll see mine later. Yes, indeed, that's me. I'm Mal. It'd be rude to let you drink whiskey on your own. I can tell you and I are going to get along famously. He takes a swig from the bottle and passes it to me. I try not to show my self-consciousness and surreptitiously wipe the neck with my sleeve before taking a modest sip. I don't expect you to begin work until tomorrow, so I'll just give you your kit and some basic instructions and leave you to relax for the rest of the evening. Thank you, sir. That sounds great. Okay, so first things first, this is your basic kit. He goes over the pile of tools and equipment, explaining each of them in turn. It's all standard stuff until... And this is your catalog. He holds up something that looks a lot like a mobile phone. It was initially designed to record and store data on the cats, but we've come a long way since then. There's even a chipping pin that comes with it to tag the cats so we can keep track of them. It's an extremely valuable piece of equipment, Mal, and cannot easily be replaced, so I need you to guard it with your life if need be. I think he's joking at first, but he looks so intense that I decide to take him seriously. Yes, sir, of course I will. Good, you'll get to know all the functions as you go along, but for now, I suggest we take a stroll and see if we can't find a few cats that you can try it out on. So I spend the next hour scanning cats under the watchful eye of the professor. I want to see if I can get to the next stage of the game. At least get to chapter 2. Alright, a little dugout under my bed. Personal journal of the previous research assistant before me. They've either forgotten it or left it behind. It's an absolute goldmine of information. It's going to get me up to speed with how it all works around here in no time. However, it seems something else was happening here on the island. Something that was troubling them. I get the feeling there's far more going on here than the professor would have me know. In spite of my increasing tiredness, I continue to read. This is all different from the first time. I'm extremely suspicious of the professor and everybody too now. But this is all new, so I have all of my original notes from when I was Malacat, and now I'm Mal. So, I told you death wasn't permanent, and being shot just makes it a little harder to come back next time. In spite of my increasing tiredness, I continue to read, and the journal gets weirder and weirder to the point where I'm not sure whether I'm still reading or I've dozed off and am now dreaming of talking cats and kidnappings. Eventually, I lose the battle and drift into a deep sleep. Apparently, I snore. I wake with a start, and it takes me a moment to get my brain into gear. I hear a scratching sound and the rustling of paper coming from the tent flap. It's a cat with something in its mouth. And suddenly, I'm wide awake. And here's the grand chase for the catalog again. Now, it's back to where it was the first time. No! It has the journal! Wait! But it's disappeared into the night. Before I know it, I'm out in the cold of night chasing it, running with all my might. I must get that book back. It has everything I need to know in it. Barefoot, dressed only in a t-shirt and shorts, running at full speed in the forest in the dark of night. This is familiar. I know, I read this in the journal. Something similar happened to the previous assistant. Yet here I am, falling into the same damn trap. I must be crazy. I slow to a stop. I think I'm going to be sick. I realize, of course, I'm close to the danger zone. Everything goes black and I fall to the ground. I open my eyes. A calico cat, one that I scanned yesterday, is standing in front of me. She drops the journal from her mouth. I pass out. Hello? I say, can you hear me? Are you okay? Here we go again. Move back a bit. Let them breathe. Has it been bitten? The space cat is standing over me, staring as I open my eyes. Yes, definitely bitten. Look at its hand. I bring my hand up to my face, and through blurry vision I can make out several deep scratches and puncture marks. The cats watch me intently. Is this real? I read something in the journal about kidnapping. Catnapping! Yahaha! Oh, we're sorry. It was the only way. You stole the journal. Oh, but I gave it back to you. But why did you take it? To lure you out here, sucker. There's no need for rudeness, Kibbles. My head has begun to clear, and I realize that if I can talk to these cats, not only is it all true, but it's already too late. I have the sickness. We need to have a talk, human. No, we don't. I know what's going on here. I read all about it from your last victim. Now, Kara, that's not very nice. We prefer to think of you as our champion and friend. McMurphy, you silver-tongued Irish charmer. My reputation goes before me. Oh, I know who all of you are from the journal, so let's cut to the chase. We just did that, dummy. Oh, wrong cat. Oops. We just did that, dummy. You know what I mean. What happens now? And that rather depends on you, human. So what do you say? Are you going to help us or not? I suppose my fate's already sealed. I may as well do my best to help you sort this mess out. Spoken like a true champion. But let's hope this one's better than the last one, you bitch. It's not my fault I got shot in the face. You look like you know the feeling anyway. Less than a minute on the lasagna. Okay. Once it beeps, take everything out of the oven, and I will come out as soon as this scene's over. Unfortunately, they didn't get very far with discovering an antidote or what happened to our friends. My catalog starts beeping. Thank you. Oh, my alarm. I have to get to work. Go then. And thanks from all of us. Alright. And a quick break while I go grab the food, the actual dinner. We'll be right back. once it's open. Yay, dinner! Let me arrange things so that I can eat my food without knocking the keyboard around. It's dinner time. That's one thing about visual novels. If I arrange things properly, I can eat and stream at the same time. Dinner, dinner, dinner. Okay, perfect. Alright, I made it back to the lab fairly quickly, considering how little sleep I've had. I wonder if that's one of the effects of the feline transition. I imagine my agility levels will change. I'm strangely excited about getting to work on the antidote. It's the sort of challenge I love. I'm about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when the catalog beeps a message without any contact information. Oh dear. Heck. Ominous. I don't have time to work this puzzle out, though. I'm already going to be late for work if I don't get a move on. Somehow miraculously not late. Okay. At least it's an island of cats. That's true. So I'm going to focus this time, I think, on recon, but I want to see if there are any other options open for romance. I can do Snooty Booty or I can do Floopy Butt for romance. I'm going to start with recon now. Assuming that there's any recon open. Snoots has brought me something intriguing. Or environmental research with Trixie. Product analysis from Snooty Booty? Or environmental research with Trixie? Good question. What does everybody else think? Environmental research? Okay, that's one vote for environmental. Two votes for environmental. Okay. Environmental research it is. I've taken some time off today so that Trixie can show me the water pools she's been telling me about. I have some sample bottles in my backpack, along with some food and a blanket. If it's nice, we'll have a picnic lunch there. So, these pools appear to be different colors, do they? They don't appear to be homey. They are. Well, we can't prove that until we've tested them. Reflection, refraction, and dispersion can play some fancy tricks on the eye. And cats can see into the infrared. I'm pretty sure that Trixie can tell you if they're the same color or not. Clue to your testing. You take all the magic away, science person. It makes your world very dull, I think. Maybe you're right, Trixie. Let's wait and see what wonders you're going to show me, hey? That's right, this way. She's disappeared from sight. I run to the cliffside where she was walking and look over the edge, and I can see that she's jumped onto a small rock shelf about 4 meters down from where I'm stood. Come on, you can do it. Don't be afraid, cat. Trixie feels like she should have a bit of a Valley Girl accent. I'm more concerned about how I'm going to get back up again, actually. This is all in the UK, but that doesn't mean that the cats weren't originally from all over. They all used to be researchers, I think. Or they were all members of the shipwreck. Impressive! You're getting a feline spring in your step. If you say so. I'm worried I may have twisted my ankle, but I don't want to say anything. What is with my sinuses lately? Follow me, Springy. I'll figure out a voice for Trixie later. Just follow my voice. And suddenly an alarming sound is coming from between two rock faces. It's high-pitched, screeching, and very loud. I squeeze through the crevice and am in what looks like a cave without a ceiling. She tells me to follow her voice and then immediately starts doing a heckin' yowl in the middle of a cave. That's hilarious. And very feline. I know a small little kitty that likes to yowl too. Does a heckin' scream when I won't let her into the bathroom to watch me poop. Bye. Trixie, stop. The sound is so amplified in this enclosure it's become deafening. Sorry, Humi. I think she's saying Humi, not Homie. I had her say Homie before. That's why I thought she might sound like a Valley girl. I think it's supposed to be Humi. Humi. Like human. Sorry, Humi, but it feels so good. Have a try. What? Yell, shout, scream, sing! At the top of your voice, as loud as you can! Oh, really? I feel self-conscious, but I'm dying to have a go. You only live once, and it's so fabulous! She makes the noise again, and this time I join in. It's fantastic! The acoustics are something else. It's like an amphitheater. She's totally Scottish. Unfortunately, my Scottish accent isn't as good as my Irish one. I don't want to try to do a Scottish accent and have it come out Irish. If the game was more sweary, her every other word would be cunt. Isn't that more Australian? Eventually we run out of steam, and I flop to the ground exhausted, but exhilarated too. Parts of Scotland are like that too. The sweariness, yes, but cunt specifically. After we've caught our breath, I'm ready to push onwards. We'd better get on if we don't want to be back too late. We're here! I'm surprised. I was expecting something more impressive, I suppose. This is the place? I look around, and for the first time I notice several small pools of water, not much larger than puddles, around the edges of the enclosure. Alright, I hope everything's okay. Keep me updated, okay, headset? Oh, I see. I bend down next to the nearest pool and see straight away that it is the deepest red. It looks like blood. Well, look at mine, like liquid sky. I cross to the opposite side where Trixie is sitting, and sure enough, there's the clearest, richest blue water. And melted emeralds? Again, I follow her to another pool, as green as spring foliage. Then another of deepest purple, one of orange, yellow, pink. Well, it certainly is amazing, as you said, Trix. How strange that they're all so different. What's causing it? It has to be a trick of the light. But let me try to pull out Adelaide's voice again. Maybe I can do Scottish if I try to channel Adelaide a little. It's gonna come out Irish, I can already feel it. A bit more rough, less sloping. That's what I'm trying to go for. But I can already feel that it's going to try to come out Irish instead. And 100% done with the universe shit. But you're landing! Well, I'm not sure that's a good idea. There could be any number of bacteria making this happen. Best not to touch it until we're sure it's safe. I've done it lots. It's fine. I glance over, and sure enough, she has her furry little paws in the golden-colored water. Somewhat reassured. The little shit was acting like something was wrong with his leg and he was faking it. Well, it sounds like you haven't been giving him enough attention. Or at least he thinks so. Hi, Gray. Rebel's had attention the whole day and still acting like a little shit. Well, Rebel thinks he hasn't had enough attention. Somewhat reassured, I scoop some of the blue water up and sniff it. It smells wonderful, as though it's been perfumed. How are you doing today, Gray? It's like with kids. Depends on the kid, but yes. What is that smell? It's weirdly familiar. Passable. Same. I take out my bottles and begin collecting the waters. My theory about the light is blown when I line the bottles up together and they each retain their original hue. Something is dying in this water. I can't wait to get back to the lab and run some tests. 6 work days will kill a man, but the extra pay will be useful. At least you're getting paid for your work. When animals are actually sick, they generally hide it. Yeah. That's how I know when Fi is sick versus when she's just trying to get attention. If she's hamming it up and really wants me to know that she's definitely hurt or definitely sick, she's probably faking it for attention. But if she's hiding and not wanting to come out, then we're getting our butts to the vet. We can go back the easy way if you like. Follow me. I have to get back into character with Trixie here. We head back along the rock shelf and go past the spot we jumped down on the way here. Further along there is an ascent, just as Trixie had said, but I would hardly call it steps. Someone has clearly tried to make a trail here, but it's a bit rough and ready. Further along still, I can make out an empty large metal drum. It's rusted, obviously discarded some time ago. I get a closer look and see that there is a tap near the base and the remains of a label, but I can barely make out the words. I take a picture of it with my catalog to decipher it later. The perfume I smelled in the cave seems to be stronger here. I'm very intrigued. Trixie couldn't be less interested in all of this. She is happily skipping ahead, looking for a good picnic spot for us. I will have to be patient with my investigations. She failed in training me? Well, that's fine by me. Okay, so that was day 1 of recon. I have 1 more recon that I can do this chapter, and that's the product analysis. Let's go ahead and do that. Mal, are you still sleeping? You really ought to be awake by now. Snooty Booty, are you okay? What are you doing in my tent? All this lazing about is very bad for your complexion, to say nothing about the dragging effects on the delicate tissue around the eyes. Is there something I can help you with? Possibly. I have something I want you to look at. So, Gray, so you're coming in... I think this is technically chapter 2 of the game. The first character that I was playing obviously did not find the antidote for the cat transformation in time and ended up getting shot on the way home when it was discovered that she was infected. So we're on character number 2, which I think is technically also chapter 2 now. There are 6 chapters in total. So... And permadeath. I couldn't get my other character back. Right now? What time is it? Time you were active? Come along. Well, at least let me get ready. Very well. Snooty Booty sits down and starts grooming herself. After a moment, she looks up again. Oh, why aren't you ready yet? Can you leave the tent so I can get dressed? For goodness sake. Snooty Booty rolls her eyes and walks out. I get dressed resignedly and follow her. What do you think it is? I'm intrigued. We are on the beach, staring at a partially buried bottle sealed inside a plastic bag. It looks as though it's only recently washed up. Well, there's really only one way to find out. I pull the bottle out of the sand. It is some kind of document or note in the bag, along with the bottle. What is that thing? Read it to me. It's a good thing I'm just as curious as Snooty, or I would be feeling a lot more irritable by now. I carefully unseal the bag and unfold the paper. I read the note out loud. Initial tests on the most recent formula are encouraging. Subjects 6 through 18 appeared visibly younger. Moderate to severe side effects noted, including increased hair growth and marked mood alteration. Subjects 1 through 5 had major complications. Some new small tumors, skin irritation, partial blindness, and memory loss. We need you to look into this. Check for contaminants and continue to iterate on the formula. Appeared visibly younger? Snooty Booty, is that the most important thing you gathered from this report? You're quite right, Mal. We ought not to trust it. That note could have been written by anyone. We shall conduct our own experiment. Apply the cream to my skin. Have you lost your mind, Snooty Booty? Did you not hear what I read out? Tumors, blindness, memory loss? Statistics bore me. You should know that by now. Let's live a little. I'm willing to take the risk in the name of science. No, we're not taking any risks, Snooty Booty. You wait here while I go and get my kit bag from the lab. Let's see if I can't work out what this stuff is made out of. I was hoping the lab would be free, but the professor is in here making some notes. Ah, hello, Mal. I thought you were taking a day off from the lab today. Oh, yes, I am, Professor. I wanted to check something. I can't take the test equipment away without the professor getting suspicious. I'll have to come up with some kind of excuse. Well, I wanted to get ahead on some of the field work. There are some samples I found that I think could be useful. I pick up the field kit bag. Popper looks up from his work. Oh, what sort of samples? I have to make this believable, but also invite no other questions. The samples are fecal. Fecal? Yes, a large poo, sir. It has rather interesting properties. Oh, jolly good. Off you go, then. When in doubt, poop is always the excuse. Nailed it! I take the bag and leave. As I approach the beach, it becomes clear Snooty Booty has managed to break into the ointment. She appears to have spilled some and is now busy rolling around in it. Snooty Booty, what are you thinking? This could be dangerous. The only danger here is this ghastly sand sticking to my delicate skin. Do help me get rid of it, Mal. I try to wipe the sand off, but it's stuck like glue. Underneath the layer of sand, I can see her skin is very pink. There's no time to lose. I pick her up and run to the ocean, trying to use the seawater to clean off as much of the ointment as I can. Put me down! What on earth? I've never been so humiliated in my life! While you're rolling something weird, you end up getting a bath. That's life, cat. Sigma and Phi had to learn it the hard way, too. Not that they learned it. She twists out of my grip and scampers off in a huff. I think I've got it all off, so I leave her to it. Especially when Phi escapes and slags about. I know, right? It's a damn good thing I had her spayed. Now back to the samples. There's not much I can do here on the beach, so I'll just have to wait until Professor Popper has finished in the lab. Well, that was quick. As luck would have it, the professor needed to retire to his tent earlier than usual. He has to read some research papers that arrived from the mainland this morning. So now I can continue looking into this ointment. I begin by testing the substances for several common compounds found in cosmetics, but it's negative for all of them. I widen the tests for other organic compounds. I get a match. About 30% of the ointment is cat saliva? If they're using saliva from the cats on the island, they could be infecting all their test subjects with catification. But where have these other side effects come from? I run the ointment again, this time looking for known pharmaceuticals. Before I can get the results back, Snooty Booty comes trotting in. I just thought you should know that the security guard is coming this way. You should make yourself scarce before he arrives. Not that I care what happens to you after you threw me into the ocean. I've no time to finish this experiment now, but I'll work on it later in the privacy of my own tent. I take my things and run before Zane arrives. Snooty shall henceforth now and forever be known as Karen. That probably was her name before she became a cat. At least she didn't get punted into the ocean. Oh, I've been tempted. I've been tempted to punt Snooty's booty into the ocean. She should thank her lucky stars. Excuse me. Alright. For the record, there's not anything actually romantic about these dates as far as I saw in Chapter 1. Floofy Butt or Snooty Booty? I unfortunately cannot try McMurphy again. Captain Floofy Butt? Alright, I've got 1 vote. 2 votes for Captain Floofy Butt. Any other opinions? Shrug from headset. Alright, Captain Floofy Butt it is. Meow. That was cute. I'm not sure what to expect. I've come to the forest with Floofy Butt for what I assumed would be a pleasant way to spend my afternoon off work. But I have now... You're half asleep, not even sure what's going on. Okay, so the background of the story is... You play as a graduate... You start out anyway as a graduate student who has the internship of a lifetime with Professor Popper on Cat Island. Nothing naturally lives on this island except cats and plants. Your very first night on the island, you get bitten by a feral cat from the bad end of the island and begin turning into a cat. And you have to try to find the antidote. But then, at the end of Chapter 1, as I was trying to go home to get medical attention because obviously I didn't finish the antidote in time, the ferryman shot me when he found out that I had been infected with the catification virus, or whatever the hell it is in their saliva that turns you into cats. Basically, it's the cat zombie plague. So, I got shot in the face, and now I'm a different person, who is now the assistant researcher on Cat Island. Except, I've also been bitten by a feral, and I'm turning into a cat. I'm a little bit spicy about it because I saw it all coming because I had the journal from the person I was before. So I'm trying to get information while at the same time not letting Professor Pauper know what happened. So I'm a werecat minus the transformation on the moonlight, essentially. So I'm trying to get information and research and resources to make the antidote. It's part visual novel, part kind of dating sim, and part what the actual fuck. But I'm enjoying it. I first played 2 years ago, back when I first started streaming. I got about halfway through chapter 1, and I just randomly decided to pick it back up again. And get back to my roots. Back to what the channel used to be, back when I had a much more static avatar with crappier ears. You fully believe the first character was shot with a trank and is now being used as test subject somewhere on the island hidden away in the lab. That would be an interesting twist. At least I'm not having my life choices questioned by produce. Nah. If they were trying to shoot me to contain the catification virus, I was either shot by a trank and taken off for experimentation, or I was shot someplace that would guarantee a kill. Those are really the only two options that would make sense. But then again, nothing makes sense in this game, so who fucking knows? As for my life choices being questioned by produce, apparently there are other endings to Cooking Companions, and I do intend to play that again soon, too. I have to get back to Scarlet Hollow soon, too. I've got a lot of games from back when I first started streaming that... And damn, has it been almost 2 years now? Holy shit. It would make more sense to keep an infected alive, especially by... Yeah. And had it been Professor Pauper that shot me, I'd be fully on board with the trank theory. But since it was the ferryman, I think it could go either way at this point. Do I need to study the transformation? I don't think they care about finding a cure, honestly. Or maybe the trees are talking to me and this is all a dream brought on by my lack of faith in the popcorn bucket deity. But I'm a card-carrying member of the Church of Coffee. I can't follow the popcorn bucket deity and the coffee god. I already know that there's not any coffee left, Madge, because I don't need a refill because this giant mug that I just filled on my last break is still mostly full. It's not about finding a cure, it's about studying and seeing if they can use it to their advantage. It all depends, it all depends. Anyway, an informative afternoon of instruction and practical participation. That sounds suspiciously like a lecture to me. Oh well, as Professor Pauper would say, a scientist must keep an open mind. There's a mythical animal that is a unicorn bear? You thought the Java Church were sworn enemies of the Python cult? Well, that's why I said the Coffee Church, not the Java Church. Rob and I don't get along anymore. I don't know what I did to piss off rum and all the other alcohol deities, but they tend to make my life miserable whenever I try to participate in the worship of them. Guzzle's gold monster. Is the gold one any good? I don't think I've tried the gold one. I've had the purple one. It's pineapple flavor? Yeah, I definitely have to try that then. Love me some pineapple. This is something I would normally do alone, but you strike me as a like-minded soul, interested in both gastronomic and anatomic pleasures. Perhaps now would be a good time to lay down the blanket I asked you to bring. We don't want to put that tender skin of yours under duress. What? I have a concern. You partake in worship of rum on occasion, but your real patron is Sleepocles. Well, you see, that's why you and the Church of Coffee don't get along. Coffee is here specifically to save us from the evils of sleep. Yeah, well, the god of swearing is my secret lover, so... Go sleep when you're dead. Same! And even then, you'll still be awake. Yeah. You were notified, Magi. What do I think of a polar bear unicorn? You did already know about them. It's why you were already notified that the god of swearing was my secret lover. There is a Greek god of language, so every time I swear, Hermes is praised. Okay, well, I'm not into Hermes specifically, so... Nothing wrong with Hermes, just not my type romantically. Hermes was totally a potty mouth. Oh, Hermes is totally a deity that I would go out for a drink with. I just can't guarantee that anything more would happen between us. He's also a deity of sleep. Exactly why nothing romantic would happen between us. Coffee would get jealous. What about Party Boy himself? Which one? Which one and in which pantheon? Dionysus? I feel like the temptation to begin drinking again would be too great and I'd just spend the rest of eternity in constant pain. I suspect that especially in the time period, it would have been too cold to grow weed in Greece. It is a desert plant. I believe it originated in the Middle East. Or was it Northern Africa? I can't remember off the top of my head. But either way, I'm going to hit the vape. You want some, Madge? The ancient Greeks had weed? Huh. That's interesting. I would have thought it would have been far too cold and wet. Well, hemp and weed are not necessarily the same plant. The species, there's a couple of species that produce THC, and then there's a couple of species that don't. And I think the ones that don't produce it are a little bit more temperature resistant. Asclepius is Greek deity of medicine. That's true. Could be rolled under that. Its use was pretty worldwide until cotton barons pushed it down. Interesting. I will have to look into this more later. Floopy Bud is just making this weirder and weirder. You always bring up help bags whenever someone says, but that cotton bag isn't as good for the environment as you think. Oh, hemp bags. Hephaestus is considered to have domination of smoke, so hemp and Ace are totally tag teamable. Oh, definitely. And if they invite Dionysus to, I can speak, to the party, then they don't have to worry about Cottonmouth either. There's a note of medical cannabis being used all over the world in writings. I'm going to look into this later. This is interesting now. I'm definitely going to look into this later. I've got a giant orange cat literally propositioning me here, and yet I'm being distracted by the potential of looking into the history of cannabis. Yet again, glad that we banned the literal 10-year-old before we got to this part of the stream. This is why I march for mature audiences, and this is why we had to weed out whether that was a child or not. In 2007, a late Neolithic grave attributed to the Beaker culture found near I cannot pronounce that right now. Dated 2459 to 2203 BCE, was found containing an unusually large concentration of pollen. After 5 years of careful investigation, these pollen were concluded to be mostly cannabis, along with a smaller amount of meadowsweet. Due to the fever-reducing properties of meadowsweet, the archaeologists speculated that the person in the grave had likely been very ill, in which case the cannabis would... Oh, that's absolutely true. Everybody tells me I'm full of shit when I point it out, though, Gray. It was primarily Richard Nixon's campaign and racially motivated smear campaigns. Same as opium. You couldn't have your cannabis because, oh, those dirty criminal Mexicans use it. And you couldn't have your opium because, oh, well, that's what the Chinese guys are using. And anti-hippie as well. Like, you want your kids to be like those Mexicans and those hippies? Because that's what weed's going to do to them. And then they flooded the black communities with crack. Yep. The difference is that opium does have legit addictive properties. It does. It does. And there are a lot of problems surrounding our current opioid epidemic. But also, I am fully of the opinion that if we treated addiction as a medical issue rather than a criminal one, we wouldn't have nearly as much problem as we do today. It was... who was it that legalized everything and started sending people to rehab instead of to jail? But there was some Portugal. Yeah, I think it was Portugal. I knew it started with a P. But yeah, they legalized everything and started sending people to rehab instead of jail. And their crime rates and their addiction rates and even things like the homelessness rates and everything just plummeted within months of decriminalizing everything and making it a medical issue. So, I mean, the data's pretty clear, but try getting politicians to actually look at it. Suddenly and without warning, there's a loud plop as a bird plummets out of the sky onto the blanket. Told you so. Oh my, it's dead. As a doornail. But what happened to it? Just a force field, of course. Now enough foolish questions, Mal. Let's get started, shall we? Just like the lectures from my uni. What exactly are we doing here, Floofy Butt? I told you, don't use that ridiculous name. I prefer Major if you... Okay, he's Major Floofy Butt, not Captain. I was calling him by the wrong title before. Survivors of the American Civil War that were scripted opium for war-related injuries spent the remainder of their lives dependent on it. Both a credit to the therapeutic and addictive properties of it. Yep. Before I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I actually started using cannabis because I wanted to get off the opioid painkillers that I had been prescribed. Because, first of all, they didn't do shit for the pain. Second of all, I was definitely starting to notice signs and symptoms of addiction, and I was not happy about that. So, against medical advice, I cold turkeyed myself off of my prescription painkillers and went on cannabis and never looked back. Don't ever do what I did. It was very dangerous. But I have a medical background and I knew what I was doing. And had I come to the point that I needed medical intervention, I would have gotten it. They won't even prescribe me T3s anymore because it's the only thing that works against my migraines. They won't even prescribe it. I have to take T1s and hope for the best. And I can't get like actual migraine pills because Pharmacare won't pay for them. But yeah, after going to the pain specialist and admitting to her that I had stopped taking opioid painkillers and gotten on cannabis instead. And the cannabis actually helped and didn't make me feel half dead. She was like, so yeah, that's indicative of fibromyalgia. And we went through the battery, the questionnaire, and all my medical history. And she was like, yep, you have fibro. Speaking of this conversation, why the fuck is the greatest antibiotic on the planet not OTC? If you mean penicillin, it's because of how common allergies to it are. It's because of how common the allergies are and how serious they can become. So if you have someone who doesn't know, like, how to tell what has penicillin and what doesn't, like, a lot of death can happen. Maggie, no. We can't pay for my migraine pills out of our inheritance. We drained the inheritance in less than a year. Trust me, if there was any way to afford the migraine pills that I actually need, I would have figured it out by now. But when the one that works is $200 a pill and not covered, that's the other thing. Overuse of antibiotics does lead to antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And you know that there are people who are going to go buy amoxicillin for every little sniffle that they get, even if all they needed was a Benadryl. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's complicated for me, Gray, because I get two different types of migraines. I get vascular migraines, which are stress-related, and I get neurological migraines, which are essentially a milder form of epilepsy, which runs in my family. And they have different symptoms and different things that are required to control them. And like I said, the pill that would control my neurological migraines are $200 a pill. And sometimes a dose is 2 pills. You're on gabapentin to control your migraines. Gabapentin did not work for me. It did not work at all. Also, if I remember correctly, gabapentin made me extremely suicidal. Speaking of things that I need to take and almost forgot about, where the hell did I leave? Not my metformin, my... There it is. No, wait, that was more folic acid. Where's the other one? Sorry, y'all. I gotta find this. Oh, that's mildly annoying. Where? the hell? Okay, so I can't find one of the vitamins that I'm supposed to take. Found my folic acid, so at least I can get that one into me. Herbal recommendations as followed, not a doctor and not to be considered medical advice. Oh, absolutely. Any suggestions that you give me to help control my migraines, Gray, I'm going to have to run by my fertility specialist anyway, because there are some herbs that absolutely must not be taken during pregnancy. And I'm not saying I'm pregnant yet, but I am saying that we managed to actually fuck on ovulation day this month. Unfortunately, my last conception I lost. I use valerian and peppermint a lot. Valerian and peppermint can help if I manage to catch it right at the beginning of the migraine. Wormwood I know I can't have during pregnancy. I have to check on ginkgo biloba with my fertility specialist. Chamomile I found ineffective. Ginger, yeah, I do ginger and peppermint and valerian a lot already. Chamomile I found ineffective. I have not tried rosemary yet. I'll try rosemary, and I will check with my fertility specialist on ginkgo biloba and willow bark. I don't think I can get wormwood easily. And capsicum is contraindicated because of fibromyalgia. It can be inflammatory, and I have enough joint pain. Turmeric root. I'll check turmeric. I seem to vaguely remember being told that I have to watch my turmeric intake, specifically through the trying to conceive phase, but once I hit the second trimester, I can start having it again. Green tea extract is thought to help, but you've not had much success with it with pain relief. Neither have I. Oh no, I'm definitely not going to take a sledgehammer to my foot. Thank you for the suggestions, though, Gray. I'm going to copy over... Okay, avoid wormwood and feverfew while attempting to have the kittens. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I can get wormwood easily anyway. And feverfew and... yeah, feverfew and wormwood. I know I can't have. And valerian, I think is safe, but I'll double check that as well with the fertility specialist. But the rest should be safe. I'll check with ginkgo biloba with this fertility specialist. Alright, I'll send that list to myself. And I really do appreciate that. Anything that'll help. Actually, one of the vape cartridges that I've been using on migraine days that has been helping is cannabis and peppermint. And it's pretty good. It's from a textbook that you keep in your library. I would love a copy of that textbook. So if you can throw me the ISBN, I can look that up later. Yep. Perfect. I would assume that an eye massager would help with stress migraines. I do a lot of forehead and behind the ear massage for my vascular migraines, which are stress related. Somewhat outdated, but still is a good place to start further research from. Perfect. I will copy and paste that to myself as well. Tiger Mom. Tiger Mom's good for a lot of things. It's probably the menthol in it. Menthol is good for a lot of things. Ginger does not help yours. I know that staying on top of my vitamins also helps. That's why I couldn't find the other vitamin. I forgot that I changed brands. I was looking for the wrong bottle. Okay, I found that one. Never mind. Don't put Tiger Balm on the dick. No, please do not the Tiger Balm. Please do not the Tiger Balm. No, thank you. That... I don't even have a dick and I'm feeling pain from that. Yeah. Staying on top of my vitamins helps. If my vitamin B goes out of whack, which it does often, I get more migraines of both kinds. A good vitamin B can be a lifesaver for prevention. It's not so good once you already have one, but for prevention, it definitely keeps the frequency of them down. And vitamin D, by which I mean the sunshine vitamin, not the other thing, also important. And iron and magnesium. Add cinnamon and curcumin to the list too. Okay. Good bit. It depends on the migraine. If I have a vascular migraine, it's going to make it worse. But sometimes, rarely, you can distract the body long enough. If you catch it early, sometimes you can fuck away the other kind of migraine. You have to catch it super early before the pain really sets in. But yeah, sometimes you do just need a little nervous system reset, if you know what I mean. It's not always, though. It's far from always. exactly are we doing here, Major? And this is my little surprise. I'm a bird fancier. Oh, and you fancy your birds dead? Quite! All the better to practice my other pursuit. I know I'm going to regret asking this, but what pursuit would that be, Major? Food. And since you mentioned it, fucking the pain away does have medicinal benefit if solely for the release of serotonin. Yeah. It's great for depression, too, as long as you don't get to the point where you're too depressed to be able I think Major Floofy Butt's other pursuit is food. Definitely food. I'm a self-taught Oh! I misjudged you, Floofy Butt. I'm sorry. You mean as in post-mortem? Somewhat rudimentary, don't you know? But I can now find my way around the innards of the average seagull with remarkable dexterity. Yeah, well, whatever floats your boat. I'm interested in crossword puzzles myself. Not everyone's cup of tea, but it occupies a wet afternoon. Okay, back to the task at hand, Mal. I shall now begin the autopsy. You lost Spot last week, but gained 3 little fur babies in this loss. I'm sorry, what happened? If you don't mind me asking. New fur babies is always good, but I'm sorry you lost Spot. He got friendly with someone's car bumper. Oh, that's awful. I lost a cat that way once. Wasn't home when it happened. I'm so sorry. That's one of the worst ways. Yeah, my ex outright murdered my elderly deaf cat by throwing him out of the house at night. And he got hit by a car. He couldn't hear it coming. But, that was years ago now, so didn't even try to see him before burial because you know what it would have done to you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Ray. Can I send you a hug? Can I send you a spiritual hug, please? That's so rough. I'm so sorry to hear about that. Alright. Well, Floofy Butt's doing a bird autopsy, so. You swear he's jumped into one of the kittens because one of them wants to slip into the house all the time exactly the way he did? That's possible. It's possible. I mean, they do say cats have 9 lives. It's not always necessarily in the same body. Alright, bird autopsy. Floofy Butt pings out a razor-sharp claw and begins going to town on the bird. Why is an illustration of a cat with an eviscerated seagull so damned adorable? Incision from sternum to base. On first examination, the skeleton appears to be typical. I note there is no break in the neck, indicating that the force field rather than the fall killed the bird. I feel rather queasy. Oh, really? You know, this major floofy butt actually kind of looks like a certain other cat. He's got too much of a tail to be Cabot. Cabot had a little bunny stump. But otherwise, yeah, I see a little bit of resemblance. Yes, point of interest. Sometimes the initial zap the bird receives from flying into the force field merely stuns them, and it's the impact of the fall which provides the fatal blow. This chap, however, appears to have suffered cardiac arrest. You can see from the size, or lack thereof, of the heart that even a minor jolt could be enough to induce seizure. Having removed the tiny organ, Major has now begun digging around inside the carcass as though rummaging in a lucky dip. Now removing entrails for further examination. Oh, do get a better look, Mal. It's rather revealing. I can see something in the stomach sac. Stomach sac? It looks like... Oh my, it's gold! Our lucky day, Mal. Here, have a look. It's some kind of nugget. Gonna have a fit over something you've done? What did you do? No, thank you, Major. I'm not in the mood for playing with the contents of a seagull's stomach. Don't be ridiculous. This is not a game, Mal. May I remind you that we are in the middle of a very serious post-mortem, and I expect you, as my assistant, to maintain professionalism. My stomach is doing flips as I hold the object between thumb and forefinger. What is this thing? It's so small. It kind of looks like a... It's a tooth, Major! It's a gold tooth! Ford has just this year begun manufacture of a V6 four-door pickup with hybrid engine for under $30,000. Ooh, nice! That's pretty awesome, actually. Let me guess, you bought one? That's pretty cool. You have your eye on one as soon as your credit improves and you have a respectable down payment? Nice! Ah, good find. You're a natural. I can't help but wonder why a seagull would have a gold tooth in its stomach. Presumably, Major, this is from the mouth of a human. I think you're probably right. So how did it get in this seagull? What an inquiring mind. You would make an excellent apprentice. If you like, I could pass on to you the skills I've acquired. That would be a feather in your cap, eh? I resign myself to the fact that he's not going to be drawn into speculation. Okay, well, I'll bear that in mind, Major. I don't have the heart to tell him that I came top of my class at veterinary surgery. And now, to the victor of the spoils. Don't be shy. I've already carved. Oh gosh, do you mean... Of course, tuck in! We won't stand on ceremony here. It's a good one, too. Plenty of fat. I have to think fast. Do I really want to eat raw seagull carved up by a cat on the forest floor? Mystic collects dead things for science confirmed. I mean, anybody who knows Mystic knows that. Mystic and I have a similar idea of what's cute. And it may be a little bit warped. It's not for science, it's because you like them. That too. I mean, because you like it could also be science. My current thing that I'm collecting is interesting lighters. I actually just recently picked up a new one. Let me see if I can find a photo. I know I just recently sent someone a photo of the lighter. I have a small collection of Zippo lighters. I have a few interesting clipper lighters. But my recent acquisition is one of those electric plasma arc lighters. The rechargeable ones. It's pretty cool if I can find a photo. It's not going to surprise anybody that it's rainbow anodized. Well, I'm trying to find a photo of this. Magi. I think my moon landing Zippo is on the mantle right now. Would you grab that for me? I'll grab a photo of it as well. If you can't find it, it's no big deal, Madge. You're getting out of some of your collections to fund others. Yep.
Here it is, I think. Happy as long as
Yes,
it's still in
that's
this
it.
case.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just leave it with you, or do you want me to?
Yep, leave it with me. I'm gonna... my phone's not here. My phone's in my purse.
Okay, I'll go get it.
Take a photo of that. You're holding out hope that the lighter you like is still in stock when you moved out and saved up for it. Fair. You sold off about $200 of comics and magic cards towards paints and minis. Recently bought a skull lighter. A product with nothing but 5-star reviews is major sus. Yeah, that's true. You were thinking of selling off your 360 due to never playing it, but as soon as you do, you know you'll have a desire to play it. Yep. That's what happened the other 4 times you owned a 360. Yeah, technically that's a face massager, but do you really think anybody's not going to be using the other end for other things? That is indeed a peen on your screen. Meow. Okay. Okay, let's see. Or you can take the option that male octopi offer female counterparts and simply toss a tentacle at her and tell her to go fuck herself. They eat us the penis. What did you ask me a while ago that sounds similar to that? Okay, go ahead and go lay down, Mystic. That's fine. I'm probably gonna wrap up after this scenario anyway, since stream's getting a little derailed. Alright. Alright. That is indeed a pretty truck. Alright. This is the electronic lighter that I picked up. This picture was taken with flash. It's one of those really cool electric arc lighters. This one was taken with flash so you can see the engraving on it a little bit better. This is without flash. Or... why does it look like they both have flash? Well, this one was definitely without flash. It was the game that's like Terraria, but in space, and you had mods. The mod you were using had an update, and when you walked away from the game, your character ended up getting pregnant. It was taking too long. How does one need us to... oh! Yes, that question. This is the box that the moon landing lighter comes in. Yes, the moon has a holographic effect on it, on the box. This is the lighter itself. Let me rotate it round so that you can see it properly. It's pretty cool. That's all engraved, and like the surface of the moon is raised. It's really, really pretty. Like, it's still in the box. I have not used this. I am terrified of like using it and losing it, either in the house or dropping it in my purse to use out and losing it while I'm actually out, or having it get stolen. So it stays in its box on the mantle right now because it took me a while to dig one out, to actually find one. You don't blame me? It looks awesome. It is awesome. It is very awesome. Zippos have some real money value too, especially old ones. I do not have any old ones yet, but I do have this one, which is a collectible, and I have one other limited edition one that's actually not out right now. It's still wrapped in paper from when we moved in here. Then I have a couple of other ones that are a little bit plainer. Then I'm not as worried if they get lost because they're, there's a plain black one and a plain chrome one that I have that I carry with me when I don't have a clipper lighter with me. But yeah, currently interesting lighters are kind of my thing. I have the Cannabis Pinup collection, the Mary Jane collection from Clipper. And I have some other plainer Clipper lighters that are like just regular everyday carry lighters. And I have the electric lighter I just got, and I have a few Zippos. And it's kind of my thing, it is interesting, unique lighters right now. I can't explain it. This is not something that I would have told you 25 years ago I would have ever been into, but also 25 years ago I was 8 and was collecting dolls, actually. That's about when I started collecting dolls, was when I was about 8. It's good to see some passions haven't left me. Anyway, we said we were going to tuck into this bird, right? It would be frightfully rude to refuse now, seeing as he's gone to all the trouble of carving. Oh, silly me. I already had lunch before we came out, but it looks so delicious, I simply must try a bit. A tiny bit. A morsel. Very well, Mal. I shall leave you to the tastiest part of all. The liver. The cat deftly tears an organ out of the carcass and presents it to me on a flat paw. Very fatty. Oh, wow. That's too much, Major. I mean, too generous. As tempted as I am, I simply couldn't. Nonsense, Mal. I insist. I'd feel a very poor host indeed if my guest refused my hospitality. Okay, Mal, you can do this. Think of it as liver and onions, the way Mum makes it. Breathe. Don't think about it. Just take it and swallow it whole like an iron pill. I'm really going to enjoy this seagull liver. I snatch it out of the cat's paw, and it's in my mouth before my brain can catch up. You had to stop visiting historic and restored homes because you were spending too much time ogling the furniture. Yep. If I could get into my actual passion, I'd have, like, my own vintage computing museum or something like that. Either vintage computing, or I'd have actually been able to make money with my historical sewing. But Marquez architecture fetish is based in reality, just saying. Fair. To be honest, when I make characters, there's a small bit of reality in all of them. It's best to start with a seed of what you know. It's easier to get into a character's head if you have something in common with them. Even if, for certain Malkavians, that's cats and insanity. It's lodged in my throat. I can't swallow it. What do I do? That was a close call. I catch the organ in my clenched fist and simultaneously give Floofy Butt the thumbs up. Exquisite! My compliments to the cat. Quite so. Next time make sure you have an empty stomach. Unlike this chap, eh? Floofy Butt holds up the gold tooth and laughs. I try to force a laugh, but I'm suddenly overwhelmed with nausea. I've had a truly lovely time here, Major, but I'm afraid I must go now. So soon? Sadly so. Work calls. Well, I suppose that can't be helped, but let's do this again soon, eh? Yes, of course, soon. I can hardly wait. As I run home, feeling the slimy, sticky mess clinging to my hand, I curse myself for not bringing my antiseptic gel. Next time, I'll be prepared. Between you and Cled, you mean? Well, parents with their heads up their asses seems about right, but... Anyway, gonna go ahead and rest and then wrap up, I think. I sit in the position Professor Pauper... Probably more than you think. Writers have a tendency to self-insert without trying to. That's true. That's true. I sit in the position Professor Pauper taught me. Legs crossed, back straight, wrists resting lightly on my knees and fingers formed into loose circles with forefinger and thumb touching gently. I close my eyes and hear a rhythmic purring, slow and steady. My fur prickles at the sea breeze, and my ears twist at the distant sounds of feet on wood and seagulls crying in another faraway place. The smell of the sea fills my nostrils. The taste of salt fills my mouth. I begin to focus on breathing and the rhythm of my heartbeat, allowing my mind to drift. As I take a deep breath in, the tide comes creeping toward me, as though I'm pulling it. When it's just centimeters away from my bare toes, I slowly release my outward breath to a count of 5 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With each beat, I put the tide back into the horizon until it's almost touching the rising sun. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Drifting now, without attachment to thought, my mind free from worry and care. All right. And that's all for today then. Kitty yoga. Exactly. All right. Now let's see. Princess Churro was online earlier. Let me see if she's still around. She is. She is. Oh, Simsy is also on. She's playing Animal Crossing. She's a much bigger streamer, though. Do I take the risk of raiding a much bigger streamer? Let me pull up the raid message either way. Hey Google, flip a coin for me.
It's heads.
Thank you.
It landed on tails.
Thanks. I got heads first, and that's Simsy. I'm a little intimidated. Ah, heck. I'm not ready to do a raid on Simsy tonight. Alrighty, gonna raid Churro. And in the meantime, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. Most importantly of all, stay weird. And I'll see you next time. Good night.